now let's just talk about the trailer itself. I just wanted to link them couple of bits up before I forgot about them.
I think the trailer's an absolute vibe.
We always start with vibes when we're discussing stuff. We do. And yes, the vibe is fucking immaculate. I always butcher his name, and I'm going to continue to do it. Takiti Watiti. That might be the worst I've ever done.
Possibly.
He's an absolutely brilliant director. Thor and Thor: The Dark World were bottom tier MCU films. Thor Ragnarok is a top tier MCU film, and that is all down to his direction. And I see no reason why Thor Love and Thunder is going to be any different.
I mean, just off the music choice in the trailer immediately gives the same like vibes. So
exactly. I think we've got enough in the trailer to get excited about, with them also giving fuck all away really about the actual plot.
Yeah, they didn't really. I'd say from the trailer, the only plot points that you get is Thor finally snaps out of his goblin phase of being a gamer at home drinking beer all day. There's obviously going to be a workout scene, so he gets back into shape, and then he's with the Guardians of the Galaxy traveling around. That's as far as kind of the plot points go.
You know what it kind of seems like to me? So Thor's like 2,000 years old or whatever it is at this point. What if what we're essentially going to get is like a coming of age story? But of course we're used to that for like 18 to 21-year-olds, because that's when humans like come of age and find themselves and discover who they are. What if this is Thor's coming of age story? He doesn't have the pressure of leading Asgardians anymore. He has a strong sense of right and wrong. He's out exploring space with no responsibilities, which he's never been able to do before, with new friends who don't really know that much about him, because, I mean, they've barely known him.
Yeah.
What if this is just like Thor exploring himself and finding out who he actually is?
I don't know if it's necessarily. I feel like he sort of had a bit of his coming of age in the first Thor when he went from that arrogant youngster to understanding his responsibility as Thor. I don't know what so I interpret the traveling as something. I think it starts. See, this is the thing with the trailer. I think that isn't actually going to be that much time spent with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Maybe.
I think he starts off maybe traveling around with them, but because we know this film's got Gore the God Butcher in it, I think it then shifts to him going to find old friends of other gods to trying to find out more, and then that's when why he's traveling around visiting places. I think it's him on the trail, because obviously we saw him go to what seemed to be Zeus in the trailer, and then there's that shot of, I don't know what the creature's called, but the big huge giant dead creature that's like got a rocky spine on it or whatever. I saw online that's like straight from the comic books, and that is a god that Thor knew, which is why I think he's gone to visit someone, found him dead, and he's like, someone's killed this person, like this other god, and then that's him on the trailer for Gore.
So I think the big question is, at the end of this film, is Chris Hemsworth still Thor in the MCU? is he still in the MCU full stop? And if he's in the MCU and not our Thor anymore, what kind of role does he take on?
I suppose it depends on, because if we go off like what you just discussed then about Lady Thor and the character profile, and that he goes through a period of not being Thor and just being Odin's son. If we only actually get introduced to Lady Thor towards the end of the film, maybe that's the transition for a little bit. And then maybe he comes back at a later date.
So other than, so it's difficult to think about the story without thinking about like the real world side of it as well. Natalie Portman is not exactly young. She's late 30s, early 40s herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I doubt she's going to want to be tied into being Thor for another 10 years into her early to mid 50s potentially. Especially bearing in mind up until like Endgame, she'd fallen out with Marvel altogether, which is why her character kind of got sidelined a little bit. So the question is, do Marvel feel like that situation is resolved enough to the point where they can rely on her to be that big a character for that long? Or do we just get purely she is Lady Thor for this film, and then we don't actually have a Thor for a while? Which wouldn't necessarily be an issue. We could also get I can't remember which one it is when I saw this when I was young, so these are sketchy memories at best. If anyone thinks they know what film I'm talking about, please feel free to tell me. It was an animated film about young Avengers, but not the comic book Young Avengers as far as I know. And it was like Captain America and Black Widow had a kid who became like the new Captain America. Thor had a daughter who became Thor, stuff like that. Maybe they leave us with her being pregnant. Because they're Asgardian, they age. They hit human level of maturity a little bit quicker, so then we can have them. I don't know. Or maybe we do get her as Lady Thor for a decent amount of time, and Chris Hemsworth stays about as Odin's son and just joins the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Possibly.
Because Chris Hemsworth has the kind of acting capacity in that comedy sense to really work well in Guardians Volume 3, potentially.
Yeah.
But there's definitely lots of options. They've given fuck all away with the story, which Marvel have been shaky at for the last few trailers. Like, they've given a bit more of the story than I'd like, along with all the leaks coming out. There's been very few leaks from this film, other than Christian Bale was in it. And this trailer's not giving away much more.
This is also a teaser trailer, though.
Yeah. And yet I'm really excited still.
So there's more than likely going to be a full-on trailer before, which potentially will give more of an idea of the plot direction.
Possibly.
It is possible they could maybe just do Lady Thor for, like, the story goes where it ends with Lady Thor, and then she does it for like one film in between.
Maybe.
And then it goes, and Chris Hemsworth's just Odin's son. And there's like a bit of a weird like gap in a way to kind of play into the storylines of things going on, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows? Well, we know who knows, but
they won't tell me. They're not answering my calls, bastards.
Maybe one day we'll get the inside scoop.